Hi, everybody. This is Dave. I just idiotically made 3 videos with no soundtrack on them. So I'm going to do these again, but I'm not going to do them as long or detailed as I had because it's like a knife in my heart that I just blew 40 minutes. So I'm going to get right to it. 22D. This is from week 26, which some of you still haven't finished. So, with an eye to 22D, due by Monday, I'm going to go over the first 4 of these. In a nutshell, dative case expresses two or four. Just as nominative cases expresses a subject, or accusative case expresses a direct object or is used with some prepositions, or genitive case expresses possession. Dative case expresses shows two or four someone. So 22D asks you to identify the words or the word or phrase in dative case and the reason for its use. If you want to say the reason for its use in each sentence is that the word uses the sense of to or for someone or something, then that's fine with me. I don't really care if you know exactly what an indirect object is, although you may have to know that for your final exam. So it would probably be worth it to know what an indirect object is. An indirect object, well, let's just look at the first one and you'll see exactly what an indirect object is. Patuus is uncle, pecuniam is money, pueris is something about the boys, and dat is gives, as in he or she gives. So, Patuus is nominative. The uncle, what does the uncle do? He gives. What does he give? He gives money. Does he give the boys? No, he doesn't give the boys to someone. He gives something, the money, to the boys. So here, pueris is the dative here. Pecuniam is the accusative. It's the direct object. So the indirect object is the person or thing that the direct object goes towards or to. So the uncle gives money to the boys. So here, pueris is the dative. The uncle gives money to the boys. To the boys is the dative here because it says two or four. Number 2, Ankyla invita, Calponi scalesto cibum tradit. Ankyla is the slave woman, that's the nominative, that's the subject. Invita modifies Ankyla, it means unwilling, but we might want to use it as unwillingly here. Kind of turn the adjective into an adverb. Tradit is hands over. Calponi is the word for innkeeper. Scelesto is a modifier for that innkeeper. Scelestos means wicked. Here it's scelesto. And cibum is food. So let's again follow the logic of the sentence here. Subject, verb, direct object, indirect object. The slave woman hands over food to the wicked innkeeper. These are datives here. Now you can do that by using common sense, or you're more advised to do this by learning the endings for your cases. You may think you have the sense of a sentence, but until you really know these case endings of words, you're never going to be entirely positive. So if you haven't done that yet, now's the time. The slave woman, the unwilling slave woman, or the slave woman hands over, unwillingly, food to the wicked innkeeper. Write that down now. The slave woman hands over food unwillingly to the wicked innkeeper. Here we have our dative there. That's a direct object. This is an indirect object. It's going to him. Number 3, omnia patri meo semper dico. What's the subject here? Everything? I don't know. Everything says always my father. Doesn't really work. So here the subject is inside the verb, you could say. The dico, the O ending says I. That's first person singular. I say, I always say, or I always tell. Omnia, everything. Patri meo, to my father. Notice patri meo, very similar to calponi skelesto. So this is a third declension noun, and this is a first or second declension adjective, just as this is a third declension noun with a first or second declension adjective here. So I, subject, say, verb, always, adverb, everything, direct object, that's a neuter plural there, accusative, to my father. So again, to my father is the dative. I always say everything to my father. Or maybe we should say, I always tell everything to my father. So, to my father is the dative. 4. Nihil legato principis dixit. What's the subject? Let's always start with that. What's the subject and what's the verb? That's always a good sort of grounding for every Latin sentence. They're always in there somewhere. They're not always stated. Like here again, you have a subject that is stated within the verb. You can't say nothing said to the prince, to the envoy of the emperor. You say he said or she said nothing to the envoy of the emperor, to the emperor's envoy. Envoy is sort of an old-fashioned word. It's kind of like an official ambassador or a messenger of some kind. So let's go through this. He said nothing to the envoy of the emperor. And again, that could just as easily be expressed as the emperor's envoy. So here, to the envoy is the dative. Emperors is just genitive. It's saying whose envoy this is, or whose ambassador this is, the emperor's. And that's it. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I hope that helps you identify datives. Keep in mind that it's not always going to be someone giving or showing or saying something to someone. Oftentimes it very well may be. But I'm just going to ask for your attention for number 6 here. This is called an impersonal verb. It is not allowed. Non licet. Remember that licet? It looks like license. Like if you have a license, you are allowed to drive. So datives are also used with what are called impersonal verbs sometimes. It is necessary for us. It is allowed for us. Here, it is not allowed for us. So dative can also express for someone, for us, to us, for us, etc. Those are datives, okay? So watch out for that. Here, the word nobis is going to be the dative, and it's used with an impersonal verb. If you want to get more on that, you can look up above. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here, number 5, and right above the exercise. You have also seen dative case used with impersonal verb phrase necesse est and licet, it is allowed. Why is it necessary for me also to return to the city? So it is necessary for me. For me is dative. For us is also dative. So dative equals to or for. That's the critical takeaway here. Let's make that nice and big. Behold, dative equals to or for. Okay, hope this helps. This is a shorter video than I did before, but I just don't have the heart to do a long 15-minute video again after I'm wasting all that time. I hope this helps. Take care.